Rank 1, the recruit. You're 18 years old. You signed a piece of paper at a recruiting office between a subway and a laundromat. That paper owns you now. They shave your head at 0:30, 40 strangers in underwear standing in a line. Nobody is special here. Basic training, Fort Jackson. The drill sergeant's face is 3 inches from yours, and he's screaming so loud you can taste his breakfast. You run until your lungs bleed. You crawl through mud until it's in places mud should never be. You do push-ups until your arms forget their arms. They break you down to nothing. That's the point. You can't build a soldier out of a person who still thinks they're a person. The kid next to you quits in week 3, sits down during a ruck march and says, "I can't." They send him home. You keep walking. You qualify with your rifle. The M4 feels heavy at first. By week 8, it feels like an extension of your hand. Graduation day, your mother cries. Your father salutes. They pin private on your chest and you feel 10 feet tall. You have no idea what's coming. None of them do. This is rank 1. The military doesn't want your opinion. It wants your obedience, and you just volunteered to give it. Rank 2, Private First Class. PFC. 1 rank up, and you're still the lowest person in every room you enter. They send you to your first duty station, Fort Bragg. The barracks smell like floor wax and regret. You do whatever your sergeant tells you. Clean weapons, mop floors, stand in formations that start at 5 a.m. and accomplish nothing. The hurry up and wait. The military's favorite game. Rush to a location and stand there for 3 hours until someone figures out what's happening. Your paycheck is $1,400 a month after taxes. You spend half of it on a Dodge Charger at 29% interest because the dealer outside the base said you were pre-approved. Your friends back home are in college, parties, girls, freedom. You're doing layouts at midnight because someone lost a pair of night vision goggles. But something is changing. The chaos is becoming normal. The 5 a.m. wake-ups don't hurt anymore. Your body is a machine now. You start to love the people next to you. Not because you chose them, because suffering together creates a bond that nothing civilian can touch. This is rank 2. You're still nobody, but you're nobody with a tribe. Rank 3. Specialist. Corporal, 2 years in. Specialist. The rank where you know enough to be dangerous but not enough to be trusted. You're the E4 Mafia now. The unspoken brotherhood of soldiers who do just enough to avoid trouble and just little enough to avoid responsibility. But then they make you a corporal, team leader. 4 soldiers under you. Their problems are your problems now. Private Miller can't wake up on time. Private Jackson failed his PT test. Private Torres is homesick, and you find him crying in the latrine at 2 a.m. You're 20 years old, and you're responsible for human beings. Nobody taught you how to do this. You learn by failing. Your team deploys to Kuwait. First time leaving the country. The heat hits you like opening an oven the size of a continent. It's not combat, not yet, but you're close enough to smell it. The convoys, the briefings, the loaded weapons that aren't for training anymore. You call your mom from a phone center that costs $2 a minute. You tell her you're fine. She can hear the lie in your voice. This is rank 3. You learned how to follow. Now they're teaching you how to lead. And leadership tastes like responsibility. Rank 4 Sergeant. Sergeant. The backbone of the military. The rank where everything real happens. You're a non-commissioned officer now, NCO. 3 chevrons on your chest and the weight of every soldier beneath you on your shoulders. You lead a squad, 9 soldiers. Their training, their discipline, their lives. Afghanistan, Helmand Province. The briefing says routine patrol. Nothing in Helmand is routine. The first IED explodes 200 meters ahead. The ground shakes. The sound hits your chest before it hits your ears. You don't freeze. Training kicks in. You're screaming orders before your brain catches up. Move, cover, return fire, medic. Specialist Reeves takes shrapnel to the leg. You carry him 400 meters to the medevac point. He's 21. He'll never walk right again. You write the after-action report at 0300. The words are clinical. Engagement. Casualties. Mission complete. The words don't mention the screaming. You come home. Your wife says you're different. You say you're fine. Both of you know which one is lying. The nightmares start 3 months after you're back. The VA puts you on a waiting list. The waiting list has a waiting list. This is rank 4, the rank where you learn that leading men in combat changes you in ways that peace can never undo. Rank 5, Staff Sergeant. Staff Sergeant. You're running a section now. 2 squads. 20 soldiers who call you Staff Sergeant and mean it. Second deployment. Iraq. Mosul. The city that eats soldiers and spits out ghosts. Your platoon sergeant trusts you with the hard calls. Which building to clear first? Which route to take? Decisions measured in seconds that are remembered forever. You lose a soldier. Sergeant First Class Dunham. The best NCO you ever served with. An ambush on Route Tampa. He was 34. You don't cry at the memorial service. You stand at attention and stare straight ahead because that's what soldiers do. But you cry in the shower at 0200 when nobody can hear you. The water hides the sound. Your kids are growing up in photos. Your daughter's first steps happened on a video call with a 2-second delay. You watched it 300 times. You re-enlist because you don't know how to be anything else. The civilian world feels like a foreign country where nobody speaks your language. Your marriage survives. Barely. Love letters turned into silence. Date nights turned into VA appointments. This is rank 5. You've been in a decade. Half your life belongs to the military. The other half is learning to live with what the military did to the first half. Rank 6. Sergeant First Class. Sergeant First Class. 15 years in. You're the platoon sergeant now. 40 soldiers. Their careers, their futures, their families. You've deployed 4 times. Iraq twice. Afghanistan once. Syria once. Each deployment took something and left something worse in its place. The young privates look at you like you're made of concrete, unbreakable. They don't see the cracks. You train them harder than anyone trained you. Not because you're cruel, because you know what happens to soldiers who aren't ready. A lieutenant fresh out of West Point shows up, 22 years old. He's your platoon leader. He outranks you, but you outknow him by a lifetime. You teach him everything without making him feel stupid. That's the art. The NCO runs the platoon. The officer thinks he does, and both are right. Your body is breaking. Knees that grind, a back that locks up every morning, tinnitus that turns silence into a constant ringing that never stops. The VA rates you at 30% disabled. You're still on active duty. The military has a word for this. Operational. Your oldest kid asks you what you did in the war. You tell him you helped people. He doesn't need to know the rest. This is rank 6. You're the most experienced person in the room and the most damaged. And nobody talks about the second part. Rank 7, First Sergeant. First Sergeant, the Diamond. The senior enlisted soldier in the entire company. 200 soldiers answer to your standard. You're the one they come to when everything falls apart. Divorce, depression, debt, discipline. The 4 Ds that destroy more soldiers than any enemy. A private comes to your office and tells you he's thinking about ending it. You lock the weapons. You call behavioral health. You sit with him for 4 hours. You save his life that Tuesday. Nobody gives you a medal for it. Nobody knows except you and him. The company commander is a captain. He runs operations. You run the people. The people are harder. You make the calls that define careers. Who gets promoted? Who gets chaptered out? Who gets one more chance? And who doesn't deserve it? 20 years in, you could retire tomorrow with a pension. But the soldiers need a first sergeant who's been where they're going. Third deployment in 4 years. This time you're not kicking indoors. You're in the TOC watching icons on a screen that represent your soldiers in contact. Hearing gunfire through a radio is worse than hearing it in person. In person, you can act. On the radio, You can only listen and pray. This is rank 7. The rank where you realize the hardest battles aren't fought with weapons. They're fought in your office with the door closed. Rank 8, Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major, the highest enlisted rank most soldiers will ever see in person. You're the command sergeant major of a battalion now. 800 soldiers, their readiness, their morale, their families. You advise the battalion commander, a lieutenant colonel. He makes the decisions. You make sure those decisions don't destroy the people who execute them. The Army is a machine. Officers design the machine. NCOs are the oil that keeps it running. At this level, you're the oil for 800 moving parts. You spend more time in meetings than in the field now. PowerPoint slides replaced patrol routes. The war is fought in conference rooms and budget lines. But you keep your boots dirty. You walk the motor pool. You eat in the chow hall. You know the name of every soldier who's struggling because a sergeant major who hides in his office is worthless. A Gold Star family visits the battalion. Parents who lost their son in your unit 3 years ago. You shake their hands and look them in the eyes. You don't say he died a hero. You say his name. You tell them a story about him that makes them laugh. That's what they need. Not a speech, a memory. 24 years in, you've outlasted 3 wars, 6 commanders, and a body that should have quit 10 years ago. This is rank 8. The rank where the military trusts you with its most valuable asset. Not equipment, not intelligence, people. Rank 9, Lieutenant, Captain, but you didn't climb the enlisted ladder. Rewind. You went to West Point at 18, officer track, different path, same war. Second Lieutenant, Gold Bar. 90 days of training, and they hand you a platoon. 40 lives, you're 22. Your platoon sergeant has 15 years on you. He knows more than you'll learn in a decade. The smart lieutenants listen. The stupid ones give orders. First Lieutenant, Executive Officer. You run the logistics, ammunition, food, fuel, vehicles, the unglamorous math that keeps soldiers alive. Captain, Company Commander, 200 soldiers. The most important leadership position in the military because it's the last one where you know every soldier's name. You deploy to Afghanistan. Your company takes contact in the Pech Valley. 3 soldiers wounded. You call in air support while bullets crack over your head. The weight of command is invisible. Every decision you make is judged by people who weren't there. Every soldier you lose is a name you carry forever. You write letters to families. Dear Mr. and Mrs., your son served with honor. The words are true. They're also completely insufficient. Command is 18 months of the best and worst days of your life compressed into a rotation that ages you 10 years. This is rank 9, the rank where you learn that officers don't fight wars. They send people into them. And that's a different kind of wound. Rank 10 Major, Lieutenant Colonel. Major, Field Grade Officer. The war moves from the battlefield to the briefing room. Your staff now, plans, operations, intelligence. The machine behind the machine. PowerPoint is your primary weapon system. You compete for battalion command. 2,000 officers want the same slot. 300? Get it. The rest spend a career knowing they peaked. Lieutenant Colonel, Battalion Commander. 800 soldiers. Your battalion. Your mission. Your responsibility. You deploy the entire battalion. Kandahar. 800 soldiers on the ground in the most dangerous province in Afghanistan. A helicopter goes down in your sector. 4 crew members. You coordinate the rescue from the TOC while simultaneously managing 3 other operations. 1 crew member doesn't make it. You brief the brigade commander. He asks what happened. You have the facts. You don't have the answer. Your wife runs the family readiness group back home. She handles the spouses, the emergencies, the breakdowns. She fights a war nobody sees. Command ends. You're 42, grayer, quieter. The officers above you decide if you get promoted or get pushed out, up or out. The military's only career model. This is rank 10, the rank where you realize the military is a pyramid, and the higher you climb, the more names are written on the stones below you. Rank 11 Colonel. Colonel, eagle on your chest. Brigade commander, 4,000 soldiers, the unit that wins or loses wars. You don't command soldiers anymore. You command commanders, lieutenants, colonels who run battalions, captains who run companies, a chain of command built on trust. The Pentagon calls. They want you on staff. Washington, the building where wars are designed by people in suits and decided by people in uniform. You brief generals, senators, congressional committees, the same people who fund the military and then question why it costs so much. You learn the politics, which battles to fight in the hallway and which to concede. The military-industrial complex isn't a conspiracy theory. It's your Tuesday morning meeting. Your name appears on a list for Brigadier General, the one-star list, the most competitive promotion in the entire Department of Defense. 900 colonels, 40 get promoted. The selection board meets behind closed doors. Your 30-year career reduced to a file folder reviewed in 20 minutes. You wait. You've commanded soldiers under fire. You've buried friends. You've held the line in places most Americans can't find on a map. And now your future depends on a vote you'll never see. This is rank 11, the rank where you learn that the battlefield was the easy part. Washington is where careers go to die. Rank 12, General. They pin the star on your shoulder. Brigadier General, 1 star. You are now one of 307 generals in the entire United States military. Out of 2 million service members, 307, you are the fraction of a fraction of a fraction. 2 stars, Major General, Division Commander, 15,000 soldiers, an entire city of warriors under your command. You deploy the division, not a platoon, not a company, not a battalion, a division. The decisions you make move the front line of a war. 3 stars, Lieutenant General, Corps Commander, 50,000 soldiers. You answer directly to the combatant commander. The President knows your name. The Joint Chiefs call you for briefings. The Secretary of Defense asks your assessment. Your words shape policy that affects millions of lives. 4 stars. General, the highest active rank in the United States military. You command an entire theater of operations. Right now, tonight, a 4-star general is watching a screen showing troop movements in a war that the world is watching in real time. You don't sleep. Not really. The phone can ring at any hour with a situation that requires a decision that will be analyzed by historians. Your family knows you belong to the country now, not to them. Holidays are briefings. Birthdays are deployments. Your grandchildren recognize you from the news. You've served for 35 years. Every rank, every deployment, every war your generation was handed. You've written more letters to grieving families than you can count. Each one sits in your memory like a stone. You retire. The ceremony has a cannon salute. The President sends a letter. The flag is folded 13 times and handed to your wife. She held the line longer than anyone. Every deployment, every midnight phone call, every move to a new base in a new state, with kids in a new school. She is the rank nobody sees, and she outserved them all. You drive home in silence. The stars are off your shoulders. The uniform is in a garment bag. You pass a billboard recruiting the next 18-year-old. The same promise, the same lie, the same truth. Service, sacrifice, honor. The words are real. The cost is higher than the billboard mentions. A kid in a recruiting office somewhere is signing the same paper you signed 35 years ago. He has no idea what's coming. None of them ever do.